What's up, affordable Armory folks? How y'all doing? Today I got a good video for you. I'm going to compare the Taurus G3 with the Smith and Wesson SD9VE. Real quick, if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll find out when future videos come out. Without further ado, let's head over to the workbench and we'll talk about these guns. Alright, so I've been kind of looking back on some of the videos I've done in the past, and one of the videos that is still popular to this day is the 3-gun comparison I did with the Smith and Wesson here. I compared it to the Stoeger STR-9 and the Walther Creed, and I was thinking I was going to do a 1 year later video on this gun, but it's actually a little bit more than a year later. And I also did some thinking about that video in particular. And the Walther Creed, which won the video, that was my favorite of the three. The Walther Creed has been discontinued, and I didn't know that at the time making the video, so that one is out the door. The Stoeger STR-9 is, well, I sold that gun. I just couldn't see a gun with only one magazine. Again, you know, go back and watch my videos on that gun if you want to know more about it. But basically, for what you get for the money, I think you can get more. For example, this gun right here. You only get one magazine with that gun. It's really hard to find holsters. It's really hard to find magazines. Yeah, anyways, so I thought it's about time to do an update and crown a new champion of the full-size budget pistol. You know, all-purpose plinking gun, concealed carry gun, home defense gun. Can pretty much fill any of those roles type of gun. So I'm going to bring in this guy right here. This is the Taurus G3. This is the big brother to the G2C. And let's talk about these two guns. Now, the first thing I always talk about is price and affordability. This gun right here regularly goes for $299, you know, $300. There's different options and models available. You can get it in 9mm or 40 cal. This is a gray frame with the stainless slide and the fiber optic sights. They make one with just plain 3-dot sights. They make them in black. They make them in tan. You name it. So I've also, several people have commented on my videos I've done on this gun and said that they've gotten it for $250 with a light and laser combo, which that to me is an awesome deal. If you can find that deal, buy it. Hands down. If you see that deal and you want that gun, get it. I cannot stress that enough. This gun is that good. It's worth it. So $250 to $300 for this gun. The G3 is basically the same. It's usually more like $250. If you pay $300 for this gun, you know, maybe you should try to find a better deal. I wouldn't pay $300 for this gun. I mean, I would. It's worth $300, but you can definitely find it for much better prices. I think $250 or $260 is about the going price for these. So, you know, $250 to $300, $250 to $300, roughly the same price point on these two guns. Now, let's talk about capacity. So, the Smith and Wesson SD9VE comes with 16 round magazines. So there you go, there's 16. I believe it came with 2 of them. I have 3 magazines total, but and by the way, these guns are clear. Maybe I should have started with that. There you go. See, nothing in the chamber. Nothing in the chamber. Empty guns. Okay. So this comes with 2 16-round magazines. The Taurus comes with one 15-round flush fit magazine, and also comes with this, which is a 17-round magazine with this little adapter thing on there so that it sits flush. So comparable capacity, 15 to 17 rounds, 16 rounds. If you do the +1 thing, that would put you at 17 rounds. So, you know, comparable. They're both full-size, what I would say, duty-size pistols. Accuracy. Well, I took them both to the range and I shot them, and let's roll that footage. All right, I want to take a second to apologize for the way this part of the video turned out. It's a public range that I go to, and unfortunately it was a little busy that day. So on my left was a group. They were shooting an AR pistol, and it was really, really loud. And on my right was a family, and they were rapid firing, and they would not shut up. They were yakking and yakking and yakking. It was really annoying. And on top of that, my GoPro died, and so I was trying to figure out a way to film the target and the pistols, and it just didn't turn out. So this is what you get. I also want to make a correction here in a minute. After this footage, I said it was 50 rounds, but if you're keeping count, it was clearly 100 rounds from each pistol and not 50. So there you go. Again, sorry for the weird footage and no audio. I guess that's what you get when you go to a public range and you forget the GoPro. So there is the target results. On the left here is the Taurus G3. On the right here is the Smith and Wesson SD9VE. Both of these are 50 rounds at 5 yards. And no, these are not flyers. Those are tears in the paper. This thing has been sitting in my trunk, all rolled up, and so it's gotten kind of mangled. But there is one low flyer there, I guess. But you can see both of the groups are about the same. They're both very acceptable. And so, you know, it's a tie. And we're back. I didn't actually go anywhere. I just inserted the footage. But I mean, neither one is really a clear winner. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, I'd say the Smith and Wesson, but really they're both great shooting guns, honestly. I would say that the Smith and Wesson has the advantage of having this apex trigger in it, which we'll get into here in a little bit, but really I think they're very comparable, either one. So as of right now, neither one has an edge. We've gone through price, capacity, accuracy, and they're both sitting pretty. Reliability. This is where the Taurus is going to take a little bit of an edge. Now your experience may vary, but I have had issues with the Smith & Wesson not locking open on the last round. That is the one and only issue I've had with it, so it's not a make or break kind of deal. It's interesting though, as you can see, it doesn't want to lock open. I put an empty mag in there. It should lock open, and it doesn't want to. Now if I press up on the slide lock, it does. So it does work. like I said, I have 3 of these magazines, and it does it with all of them, so it's not a magazine issue. And no, it's not me riding the slide release with my thumb. It does it consistently, and so I can tell you that that is definitely an issue with this pistol. Again, it may just be mine, but it's done that literally since I bought it. It did it in the store when I was looking at it, and at the time I thought, okay, that's probably just a magazine issue. And then, like I said, I have 3 magazines, and it does it with all of them. So take that for what it's worth. As far as other reliability, it's been fantastic. I'm not having issues with stovepipes or double feeds or anything like that. Haven't had any major malfunctions with it. It just doesn't want to lock open on the last round for some reason. If that's a huge issue for you, then maybe you don't want to get this gun, or like I said, maybe it's just my gun that does that. Now, the Taurus, on the other hand, has performed exactly as I would have hoped. Just like my G2C, no issues whatsoever. It locks open on the last round. No stovepipes, no failures to feed, no failure to go in a battery, nothing. Just absolutely phenomenal gun. It runs. I can't say enough about how good this gun has done. So this is where this gun is starting to take the edge over the Smith and Wesson. Moving on to ergonomics and feel. On the Smith and Wesson, you've got this nice raised texturing on the back strap. It's very aggressive, feels good, gives you a nice purchase. It's got that same texturing on the front strap. The sides are mildly sandpapery, but smooth where you put your thumb. The controls are very easy to reach. You notice the enlarged slide release there. The takedown lever here is I don't know, they make an aftermarket one that makes it easier to do. I haven't really had any issues with it, but you know, if this is hard for you to work, then you know, maybe think about getting the aftermarket one. But I haven't had an issue with it. The magazine release is just fine. I don't believe it can be reversed. Yeah, we'll just look at the shape of it. It's only one way. But there's nice texturing there. It's very easy to reach. It's got this ledge so that your thumb doesn't accidentally slide down and actuate it while you're shooting. The slide serrations, they're very large, and I don't know, pretty easy to grab. I think I haven't had any issues with that. The sights, we'll get into that when we talk about aftermarket stuff, but you know, these are not aftermarket. Actually, these came with the gun. They're the high-vis fiber optics, front green, red rear. But you can get aftermarket sights for these guns, which is nice. Advantage Smith and Wesson there. And overall, I'd say nice feeling gun. I definitely, it feels good in my hand. I like it. The Taurus, on the other hand, has the same texturing pretty much as the Taurus G2C. It's this very rough sandpapery feel to it, which is fine. It's actually very good for holding a nice grip. The little thumb hole here, some people may not like that, you know, as compared to the very slight indentation there with a ledge. This one, that's a very aggressive divot. It actually kind of looks funky just looking at it, but my thumb fits in there nicely, and then you can kind of roll down to the mag release. The mag release is sort of elongated and rectangular-ish. It's got lines on it too, so you can feel it. It's very easy to actuate. There is a manual safety on here. I don't ever use that. You've got a Picatinny rail. There's 3 on this, where there's only 2 on the Smith and Wesson. You've got these thumb grooves or finger grooves for indexing. That's kind of nice. The Smith and Wesson has that as well, and they are textured. The slide serrations on the Taurus, they are exactly what they should be. Very easy to grab a hold of. I haven't had any issues like my hand sliding off of it or anything. The only thing that holds this gun back is same thing with the G2C, unfortunately, availability of aftermarket parts. The sights, I would really like to put night sights on here, and there just aren't any available on the market for whatever reason. And I've got some from Taurus for my G2C, and I'm gonna do another video on that. I've already done several videos on it, but I have to do a final video on it because they finally sent me some. And but anyway, there aren't really any aftermarket sights available for these, so you pretty much get the 3-dot white sights. That's what you get. The trigger, pretty good, pretty decent trigger. It's very long take up there. That's your take up, pretty long, but then the press is nice and clean, very audible. Reset it, there's your reset, breaks again. And another thing, just like the G2C, you have restrike capability, so you don't technically need to reset it each time. That's kind of nice, but it's not a necessity. It's also not very common in striker fired pistols. The trigger on the Smith and Wesson, as I mentioned earlier, this is an aftermarket trigger. It's made by Apex. Highly recommend this upgrade. It's like 50 bucks on Apex's website, and you put that in there, and the original trigger is a hinge style trigger, just like on the M&Ps. And now, as you can see, it's a bladed style trigger. It's much smoother, it feels better, and I like it a whole lot better. I would take this trigger over this trigger any day of the week. And the fact that you can even get aftermarket triggers for this gun is advantage Smith and Wesson. Aftermarket sights, aftermarket trigger. Yeah, winner Smith and Wesson on that category. So for trigger press and weight, I'm not going to measure them, but I'll just tell you this one feels better. I don't really think these are two comparable triggers as far as measuring them, just because they're different in nature. So for the purpose of these guns, like I said, these are your I can only buy one pistol guns. And I'm trying to find a champion, the king of the hill. If I could only buy one pistol and it's my carry gun, it's my my home defense gun, it's my plinking gun, whatever. These two guns fit that bill very nicely. They're very affordable, and they can be used for any and all of those purposes. Maybe you already have a Glock and you want a cheaper gun to just stow in your truck if you're comfortable doing that, or your car. This would be a good option for that as well. So either one of these very much suits all of those purposes. Overall, if I have to pick a winner, let's run it back real quick. Price, they're the same. Capacity, basically the same. Accuracy, basically the same. Reliability, advantage Taurus. Ergonomics and feel, tie. Trigger press and weight, advantage Smith and Wesson. Purpose, the same. Overall rating, the same. Guys, it's a tie. I want to pick a winner. I want to pick a winner. Help me pick a winner. Smith and Wesson. I'm going to go with the Smith and Wesson, and here's why. I can walk into Academy, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, whatever my local sporting goods store is that sells firearms, and I can find magazines and holsters for this gun right here. Hands down. Now, that's not to say that in the future you can't do that for this, because you can find those things for the Taurus G2C. This gun is just a lot newer, so maybe in the future, if magazines and holsters become more readily available for the Taurus G3, then this one may take over. Again, because of the availability of trigger mod and sights, this one gets the edge. So there you have it. there is the comparison of the Smith and Wesson SD9VE to the Taurus G3, and the winner is the Smith and Wesson SD9VE by a very slim margin. So come on, Taurus accessories, and I think we may have a new champion. But for right now, the Smith and Wesson SD9VE is the champion budget all-purpose pistol. So again, if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me so you'll know when future videos come out. As always, head over to affordable-armory.com. That's where the blog lives. That's where all of our social media links are. That's where our merch is. You can pick yourself up a fancy hat like this one. We got t-shirts, mugs, and stuff like that. And that's where all of our affiliate links are, so you can pick yourself something up that you were going to buy anyway and maybe save yourself a little bit of money while helping out the channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.